CrazyRonn here, and here we are, Minecraft. Today we're gonna go over Mekanism again. I mean, I did make a movie, a video a long time ago about Mekanism, and that went over the ore processing of quintupling, quadrupling, tripling ores, that kind of thing. And so I'm going to go ahead and go through now with what I got set up in my little mod pack. Uh, it's a mod pack constructed for me and my friends. Idaho Syndicate, that kind of thing. Call it a CMP, CrazyRonn's mod pack. Very, very creative, I know. But I'm gonna go through how I came across to compacting the system and having it automate, and how well it works with other mods. Because as with it is with most, if not all, Minecraft mods, they can usually be supplemented or complemented or made even better with the assistance and use of mods alongside of them. So Mekanism is just one that is part of that family. So we're gonna go over to my Mekanism building, and this mod pack has applied Energistics, Tinker's Construct, Galactic Craft, Mekanism, a whole bunch of other things too. So what we're gonna do is come in here, and this is the beast right here. This is the entirety of what I showed before in the other video, or processing, but all compacted and fully automated, because the other video didn't really have it automated. It just had all the machines present. Not really gonna go over through crafting recipes, because if you have any AI or stuff, you should be able to figure it out. But I'm just gonna go over the concepts and ideas if anyone's really interested. Here's the storage monitors from applied Energistics, and as you can tell, you get a lot of ingots and resources just by doing this alone. I don't have a lot of diamonds left though. So where do we start? Typically, you need to harvest ores, and you can use whatever methods you want. You can do the old-fashioned way, picking away at it with big old diamond pickaxe, or you can get automated mining systems like mining wheels, buildcraft quarries, or what Mekanism provides, digital miners. And I also have extra utilities, which is a mod that includes this really cool dimension called Deep Dark. All it is a giant cavern with like 100 blocks of pure stone on the ceiling, and just stalagmites and stalactites of cobblestone in the cavernous areas, and a crap ton of mobs. Like, you will die if you're not prepared. So that's usually a good place to start for ores. So here it is, my portal to Deep Dark, and you start off spawning in this room, a cobblestone room with torches and stuff. But I just milled it out and have a digital miner. Now this one has all the area around it mined out. It just finished, but this is basically where you want to start. I mean, when you start with Mekanism from square one, you basically, whoa, look at that mini map. Holy crap. What in dang. Anyway, pretty much what happens is you get your digital miner. You start off with like a basics, you work your way up, and you try to. This is I say with Mekanism, this is your ultimate goal: is digital miner, because it'll help everything go easier. So it's expensive. It requires a lot of diamonds, to say the least, especially for these atomic cores. You need a diamond. But once you get this built, put a chunk loader next to it. I don't remember if Mekanism loads its chunks around it. I just have a chicken chunk loader right here, 3 chunks, because this is configured to the maximum radius, which for reset config for this particular one is 32 blocks radius, and minimum maximum world ceiling and world floor, because the cavern will have ores everywhere. So I have it filtered to grab ore asterisk, which basically, according to Minecraft Ore Dictionary, which is a compatible library between a lot of mods, or if modders are willing to use it, it mines anything that has like the ore thing on it, the ore attribute to it. And gravel, well, I mine that because it's important for another thing too. Now, what you can usually do is put a ender chest next to it as a vanilla method of transporting items between like not only between this dimension and the overworld, but between this machine and wherever else you have your processing facility. This one, I take full advantage of thermal expansion. That's another mod I forgot that's included in my little pack. But thermal expansion and their tesseracts. Tesseracts are so useful because it allows interdimensional transference of energy, items, fluids. So instead of using the Ender or the Ender chest, I can use this to house everything, power, items, that sort of thing. So this sucks up the. This also takes less room than Buildcraft pipes, because Buildcraft pipes need a motor or a piston, an engine to pull items out. So it ejects it straight into here, the items out the back, into here, into the Tesseract, and the Tesseract emits energy from the home base, I guess, and it powers it straight into this this digital miner, which has max upgrades too. So it sucks up a lot of power. And then now you have your ore, and so now it's where you can start processing it. So before we even get to that step alone, you need to have a lot of the preliminary chemicals first to start, because the quadrupling process requires only these 4 machines: chemical injection chamber, purification chamber, crusher, enricher chamber, energized smelter, and then a source of oxygen, and maybe a little bit of hydrogen chloride, which is from these salination plants. See, these big copper-colored, tan-colored blocks are. Whoops, give me a second. Something's acting up. There you go. Sorry, it was my Windows stuff. These tall structures produce brine, and so it's necessary for the hydrogen chloride, but we'll get to that in a second. So the tesseract right there, that's where it is, compact, in that bottom corner right there. That's where it pulls in from the items that is put into it from the digital miner in the other dimension. It pumps it straight into this chest, and this chest is pretty much like an adapter or a buffer to transport it straight into the applied Energistics network. And this is the import bus, which just I have it set to pull by stacks everything out of that chest. So everything gets transported from this digital miner into this chest and into the network directly. Then I make it so that the network filters out these ores, gold, iron, lead, and silver, straight into this chest. And then from this chest, it pumps it in through the items, and it moves it to the beginning of the ore processes, but we still need the chemicals to start it off. So some ores I don't put through the quintupling process because they're in abundance. For example, copper and tin. I already have 18,000 units of copper, and I already set the network filter to go straight into the energized smelter. So instead of being increased like osmium, tin, copper, aluminum is galacticraft, so it can't be increased yield at any point, and yellowite is for big reactors, which I also have here. So we have to go around the corner here, and pretty much where the entire process starts is we need gunpowder. Now to make gunpowder, we need to get gravel, and the purpose of the gunpowder is to make sulfur, which sulfuric acid is pretty much the main chemical you need for the quintupling process. So to start with that, you'd think that you get a creeper grinder or something, like a mob grinder to kill the creepers for the gunpowder, but that's a little timely and it's reliant on spawning mechanic. On the other hand, you can get gunpowder in a different way, which is crushing flint. And to crush flint, 4 pieces of flint will amount to here, I'll just do this: gunpowder. 4 pieces of flint is pretty much 1 gunpowder. And to get flint, well, you get gravel. Instead of piling up some gravel and picking away at it, you can just use a pulverizer, which I'm using from a thermal expansion. I think the crusher also works in Mekanism. I don't think it does. I mean, yeah. See, yeah. In order to get flint out of a purification chamber, you need oxygen or gravel, but the oxygen right now I'm using it for the next step of the process down the line. So I'm pretty much utilizing thermal expansion's pulverizer to make flint. Then the flint gets put into this crusher, then it gets powered, it gets turned to gunpowder, the gunpowder gets moved to the chemical injection chamber, which is mixed with the hydrogen chloride, which comes from the salination plants. Then it becomes sulfur, then it becomes sulfur dioxide, and from the sulfur dioxide, it goes into this chemical infuser with oxygen and becomes sulfur trioxide. And the sulfur trioxide comes down here into this chemical infuser and becomes sulfuric acid. Now, in order to get, like, let's roll back a bit. In order to get this hydrogen chloride, well, you have to pump out the brine from desalination towers. Then you gotta transport them over to electrolytic separator. Electrolytic separator will separate the brine into hydrogen and chlorine. Then the hydrogen chlorine, which comes out on both ends here, gets pumped into this chemical infuser, and when recombined together, they create hydrogen chloride. Under this chemical infuser is another, under this electrolytic separator is another electrolytic separator, which creates oxygen and hydrogen. The oxygen is for one of the machine processes, and it's also to turn the sulfur into sulfur dioxide. And so using the water system, which is the thermal expansion pipes that you see here, the yellow ones, which are hooked up to a water main, which pumps water straight into the brine producing facilities, also pump water into this electrolytic separator down here at the bottom. And so it creates oxygen, it creates hydrogen. Oxygen goes into gets piped to the network, and the hydrogen the excess goes with the brine separation up here, and it also goes down to these tanks, which are overflow, which are completely full actually. So they get piped in, it goes through the process. Then to make the final step in the sulfuric acid, because it becomes sulfur dioxide out of this chemical infuser, or it goes in here as sulfur dioxide mixed with the oxygen, becomes sulfur trioxide, and then gets mixed in here with the water vapor. And to get the water vapor, you pretty much just hook up a rotary condensator, or condensator. Don't even know if that's a real word, but takes in water from the main line, and it turns the water into water vapor, and it mixes it with the sulfur trioxide, and it makes it sulfuric acid. And sulfuric acid, after that, now starts the actual ore processing. And so, following this item pipe all the way from this obsidian chest, from iron chests, it pumps in all of the items, transfers them over here, and it sends them straight into these chemical dissolution chambers. Now, unlike a lot of other Mekanism's other machines, which can be turned to factory blocks, which can do like anywhere from 3, 5 to 7 operations at a time, these ones can only do 1. Therefore, there's a reason why I have like about I want to say 9 of these here, or 9 rows of them, so they can each do different ore. So like for example, this one does iron. Okay, I need to fix this. Iron. They're all piling iron. Gold. That's what we need. Gold. Silver should be this one, and then these two are empty for some reason. I need to fix that. But it sends the sulfuric acid straight into here. The ore is feeding through the top, gets power from the bottom. The chemical dissolution chamber takes the iron ore, mixes it with sulfuric acid. The sulfuric acid eats away at it, and then it becomes a slurry. The slurry gets put in this washer right here, which also needs water, which it gets from the main line. Then it gets washed. It's funny that you don't need like detergent or something, some other chemical agent, as convoluted this mechanism is already. Then after the chemical washer, it gets sent to the chemical crystallizer, because the slurry ore, the ore slurry gets cleaned, and it becomes a clean ore slurry, and then now it gets crystallized. And now once it becomes crystallized, it's pretty much quintupled from its original yield. Then it gets pumped out. I had to utilize thermal expansion pipes, or item ducts, because it's weird. Mekanism pipes don't seem to want to pull from it, and Buildcraft pipes are the same way, but I don't have Buildcraft on this mod pack. And so it transfers all these crystals straight into this buffer, and then from here, it pretty much transfers it over to the actual processing. And so this one holds all the crystals in the overflow, then it gets this logistical sorter, which has Ore Dictionary Crystal Asterisk as the filter. Then it pulls anything that has crystal in it from this chest, that it dumps it from all of these chemical washers, and starts the process. The shard goes into here, into the chemical injection chamber, or yeah, taking the lots of words today, a lot of information all at once. It takes the hydrogen chloride, takes the crystals, then injects hydrogen chloride in them, and turns them into the shards. Then it takes these shards, infuses them with oxygen, then makes them into clumps. And the clumps go to the crusher, and the crusher crushes them into dirty dust. Dirty dust goes through the enrichment chamber, they get cleaned, and they become clean dust. And the clean dust go into the smelting, the energized smelter, and they become ingots. And then from there, they get pulled straight by stack through the Applied Energistics network into storage. And I'll go over my Applied Energistics network and how I've automated crafting also in a bit. That's going to be for a different video, I suppose, but that's the process. And for automating the machines which are next to each other, I don't know if I mentioned this before in the other video, but you use the configuration tab right here, and you just set the output slots. So red and blue correspond to their actual slots in here. Like this upper row is red, this lower row is blue, so that's output and red's input. And so you just do it for every single one, or whichever direction. I'm fairly certain that this is top, this is front faced, this is left side, this is right side, and this is back behind the machine. So just remember, it's based on where and how you're looking, and it just transports all the way through across. And like I said, for ores that I don't want to increase too much, or to increase yield too much, I just have the export bus from Applied Energistics pump them straight into the machine. And that's why these machines have inputs from the top too. Actually, that might explain a lot as to... Is that the top? No, that's red. Oh. That would explain a lot. Oh well. I'll just change that filter. There we go. And that too. Just in case. There we go. So yeah, and after all of these resources get together, they get all pumped into the machine, and through the machine, you can pretty much build up more and more machinery to increase your yield even more immensely. Because this is pretty much what I utilize this for. Is I'm probably going to expand this, get a couple more salination plants, because I keep running through all of my hydrogen chloride, so I'm going to need more to buff it, Jimmy Buffett, to buffer it. So yeah, that's that. This is the entire automation, like hands-free process of processing ores, quintupling them. And basically all it takes is a digital miner, a buttload of power, and some know-how. So I'm gonna go over Applied Energistics next. I'm gonna set up for that, but yep, this is it. This is the beast, all in one room, all compacted as best as I can make it. So until next time, CrazyRonn out.